I've been thinking about this all day. It's the only thing that could truly stay in my mind. Was I a victim? Was I groomed? I met them when I was 20. Very much not a minor, but like, can grooming happen to adults? Was I fucking groomed? Wait, this is a troll. That's a troll. That's a troll. This is a troll. This is a troll. This has to be a troll. Are we grooming? We're grooming 20-year-olds now? She's 17. Yeah, if I was 17, I meant. If I was talking to another adult. I'm only recently exploring platonic affection, so I think I'll just say, oh no, the reject. Ah! What? At times, I would give compliments, calling them cute primarily, but things in that vein. They reciprocated these thoughts in a way that was, in hindsight, not appropriate given my age, 17, and theirs, 22. Unbelievable. It was news to me until like a month ago and was pretty horrifying to find out. This is the exact same fear I had with my ex-boyfriend, that he was being subtle about something he had a kink over and that our innocent and personal conversations were being used to satiate his desires. I was pretty fucking upset to find this out, and while it may not mean anything to most, it means a shit ton to me. No wonder, Shayy said, if that gives you ideas. Pee tongue out smiley face. It all makes sense to me now. Additionally, after this happened, Shayy offered to let me run my hands through their hair and then proceeded to cat post. Lovely. What the 262 pages? We, a collective group of Shay's victims and former friends, accuse Shayy of actions including, but not limited to, sexual assault, sexual harassment, grooming, orbiting fans until they're of legal age, sexual coercion, and abuse. We are releasing this document because we feel that Shay's actions pose a present and extreme safety risk to the community, such that people need to be aware to protect themselves. In this document, you will find a collection of our stories, statements, and supporting evidence to these accusations. This is like a fucking UN report. Oh, shit. Shayy himself has already admitted to the actions detailed in the testimonies from Anonymous Number 1, Azureth, Anonymous Number 3, and Willie J, to the victims themselves in private. This document contains testimonies of events that have taken place as recently as the past week and traumatic events that the victims are processing for the first time. While we recognize the importance of timelines and have done our best to compile this document quickly, we have chosen to prioritize the safety of the victims such that they can process what was done to them without the needless cruelty of forcing them to tell their stories to us, let alone to the public before they were ready. Frankly, even just the sheer amount of corroborating accounts that were shared with us just over the past few days made it impossible to release a statement that would be and remain sufficiently comprehensive any sooner. We hope you can understand that no amount of pressure to make a statement was going to force us to jeopardize the well-being of the victims, and that anything but the full truth would be unfairly reductive to those of us who wish to have our stories heard. We are not a professional PR firm. We are a group of people who have been deeply hurt, taken advantage of, abused, and betrayed. We are people with private lives that now have to contend with sharing our negative experiences out to the public because Shay's inappropriate patterns of behavior have continued and worsened far beyond what constitutes drama. We implore you to read this document in full, all 262 pages of it, and humbly ask for your patience and empathy as we bare our hearts to you. Yeah, let's get some tunes. Additional context needed to understand the context document can be found below. People who have chosen to publish their testimonies anonymously have had arbitrary names, colors, and numbers assigned. These are consistent throughout all text and screenshots. Many of these statements will mention hashtag trusted or hashtag event Discord channel. This refers to the channels in Shay's server, Frog Family, that only those with the idiot or moderator roles have access to. The role idiot was typically given only to close friends of Shayy or those who were close with many in the group. It's important to note that much of the behavior described in this document has been brought to Shayy's attention repeatedly. The information gathered was collected in pieces from multiple people, who all initially believed these were isolated incidents. Though this will be obvious based on the content shared here, Shayy has had no part in writing this document and has not seen the vast majority of its contents prior to it being shared with the general public. Oh man. Star smiley. Trigger warning. This document contains descriptions of sexual assault. Not Undertale. Well, I thought this was a Deltarune drama, not Undertale, no? So it's the Deltarune soundtrack. I've been Shayy's partner for the last 5 to 6 years. Oh no. There's an important part of this relationship you need to understand going into all this. I identify as asexual. No. Oh boy. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. And I'm not interested in doing anything sexual with anyone. Shayy was aware of this and generally respected that throughout the relationship. I understood that they needed a sexual outlet and agreed that they could have sexual contact with others. I did not request that they tell me who it was with or when it happened, but I will go into how it was handled poorly. Wow. At the beginning of November 2025, so what, 5 years into the relationship, 6 years into the relationship, Shayy and I were lounging on our bed in the main bedroom. We started cuddling and suddenly they laid a hand on my crotch and started rubbing it without asking. This has never happened before and I froze. Freeze response. You probably got CPTSD from that. They did it for a minute or so before saying, "So you really don't feel anything, huh? That's crazy," before laughing and pulling away. I did not give consent for them to do this, which makes it sexual assault. I am also asexual, and I felt disrespected in my identity that they felt they had to test whether I was asexual or not. As I mentioned previously, I agreed that they could have sexual contact with others and did not specify that they had to tell me when it happened or who it was with. I did not expect them to be having this behavior with nearly 20 people nearly constantly throughout the entire relationship. What does it matter? You literally just said. Furthermore, they have reassured others that they did in fact ask for my permission for those specific encounters to happen, which they did not. They were going off the original agreement, which was years old at this point. These people were led to believe Shayy was telling me about this when it happened, and I'm sad that it would not have participated if they knew I didn't know. They would also intentionally invite people over while I was away from the house for the purpose of acting sexually with them, and again, not tell me what happened while I was away. Isn't that what the agreement was? He didn't update his sex contract with his asexual girlfriend? Oh no. Oh no. I want to note that when I left the house with Shayy to go back to my parents, I did so in secret. I was afraid they would try to prevent me from leaving. They later called my mom and confirmed that they would have tried to stop me from leaving if they knew. Who was they? Wait, what? I left the house with Shayy. Oh, like Shay's house. I thought, so not, they're not saying that like her and Shayy left the house, but they left the house that had Shayy in it to go back to his parents. Okay. Or her parents. Shay's they? Jesus, okay. Of course they are. The last bit of this section is that we actually broke up briefly in April 2020. They were flirting with 2 of my friends, and as good friends, they came to me and told me. Shayy promptly broke up with me and got with another person, which lasted for a few months, before coming back and saying they wanted to try a relationship again. That should have been my first red flag. The rest of this document is relatively minor in comparison to these instances. Oh, the rest of it, what? Sorry. Okay. For our financial situation, they made about $250K per year, while I made about $38K. Despite this, they would routinely ask me to foot the bill for our GDQ trips, which was about $1,500 for the hotel room for the week. Only once or twice did they ever split the bill with me for the past 5 years. Why? Did you ask them or did you talk about it, or? Another important aspect of our relationship is that I am severely depressed and struggle with suicidal thoughts, of course. I would often vent on my alt account about these thoughts. Shayy usually never reached out to me regarding these instances privately and rarely commented on these posts. I do not know if they just did not see them or were actively avoiding addressing them. You may ask why I didn't vent to Shayy directly, but as part of my depression, I struggled with reaching out to people one-on-one about these issues, not wanting to feel like a burden. The lack of care shown did not help. I can't believe that you didn't reach out to me about my suicidal feelings that I was posting on my secret Twitter account that I never told you about. Something noteworthy while they were at GDQs is that while we were hanging out alone, they would often suddenly go, "I'm going to hang out with X, see you later," without inviting me. I'd understand if I didn't know the person, but this was usually with mutual friend groups, who I'd ask an hour later if I can join them. There were times I'd go to sleep, not knowing where they were or who they were with, Shayy. As far as our living situation went, issues arose almost immediately. I quickly became the person to do everything around the house: laundry, grocery shopping, taking care of the garbage, dishwashing, and general cleaning. Oh, they're doing the thing! Wait, who was the last person the girl who named all the chores? General cleaning. Isn't that taking care of the garbage, dishwashing? Like, the only thing they did themselves was vacuuming. What? So what? Which was only once during the entire 2.5 months I was there. The music person? Brad Taste's girlfriend, that's it. During the times we ate together, we usually did not talk. They were too busy on their phone. I chalked it up to being an extremely busy person, but considering how often they were interacting sexually with people, the chances are high that they were doing it instead. Why are you just venting every fucking relationship problem? What? I should know that they seem to have a severe social media addiction. They were constantly on their phone or computer. I remember a few instances of them asking about eating, and then they'd stay glued to their phone for 2 hours. I'd remind them a few times they were getting food just to get a, yeah, 1 second, and another half hour of scrolling. After we ate, they generally went to their office, even if they were not streaming that day, until 2 a.m. They would come to bed and generally immediately get on their laptop to continue scrolling before going to sleep. It's very rare we actually interact with each other throughout the day. Another minor thing I want to note is that they left their trash laying around. They would be up to 10 empty cans. There would be up to 10 empty cans of soda sitting on the computer, along with boxes of empty soda containers. I thought you were in charge of general cleaning. How did that many cans build up? Was it in one day? What? This is so retarded. Crush this guy's balls. True. They would also tend to leave glasses and silverware sitting around, despite us having a dishwasher. The glasses would be covering the counter and sink. When I would go away and come back after a few days, there was usually silverware with crusted food sitting in the sink. I had to be the one to put it in the dishwasher, despite never actually using one before. I originally cleaned them by hand before learning how to use it. The last thing I wanted to mention is related to financial decisions. I have a 2011 Sentra, and they had a 3-year-old Camaro. Despite this, they traded in the Camaro and then spent $100K on a Corvette. Damn, how expensive was their Corvette that they traded in a Camaro and had to put $100K into? What? I recently got into an accident and busted the front of my car. They stated that they wanted to wait on getting me a new car since they had just bought their Corvette. They didn't even buy you a new car immediately? Oh my God. Oh my God. On top of this, it appears that they were regularly helping out friends financially, such as flying them to GDQ, helping them with groceries, etc. While I'm glad they did, it's notable that they usually didn't offer to help me in any way with my finances, especially in the case with my car, which had obvious damages, but when was potentially a danger to drive. What does that even mean? Potentially a danger to drive? Did the bumper fall off? Was it just a scuff? Or they can't even say for sure it was a danger to drive. It shows a consistent pattern of behavior that routinely disrespects and invalidates me. I thought some of this behavior as endearing through rose-tinted glasses, but putting all of this together and hearing about the experiences of my friends, I can no longer turn a blind eye to the fact that they did not seem to care about me in the same way that I did them. Oh my God. Hold on. I gotta shit talk, one second. Just some 5 laughing emojis and let's fucking go. I will admit, because of this and the previous breakup, I had a strong fear that they would leave me. Oh no. I loved them dearly and did not know what I would do if they left me. I lived with them after all. For free, by the way. I assumed a lot of it was based on me being insecure rather than the problems they were causing, and forced myself to accept these aspects and behaviors from them. That is why I did not say anything or stand up for myself, although I really should have. All of this is very complicated for me. As I'm writing this, I'm still not sure the situation is fully set in for me. Someone I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with is suddenly revealed to be doing terrible things to the people I love. Okay. Wow. All right. The comments on the latest vid. Wait, is this the person?
You've probably been told at some point that Undertale and Deltarune are heavily inspired.
Shayy, that's them. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. For a game about morals, you learned nothing. Okay. Note, the timestamps are in GMT because I put this together while on vacation in England. This is 6 hours ahead of my usual time zone. This was rushed out because of how stressful it was to try putting this together, all while the public on Twitter, Blue Sky, Discord was speculating and harassing other victims in the interest of chasing the drama instead of respecting our safety and well-being. Okay. I'm Aspen/Aspenect. I was friends with Shayy for a few years starting in early 2022. To contextualize my age throughout the rest of this document, I was born late November 2004, so I was a few months into being 17 at this point. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. At the time, I was significantly less experienced with dealing with my anxiety and struggle with my mental health. And at the time, Shayy was one of the people that I would talk to about these things. At the time, they were very willing to converse and support me, talking me through a breakdown on multiple occasions. At times, I would give compliments, calling them cute primarily, but things in that vein. They reciprocated these thoughts in a way that was, in hindsight, not appropriate given my age, 17, and theirs, 22! Unbelievable. Fun fact, you're cute. Smiley face. Takes one to know one? It's basically rape. Shut. No, I don't think I will. You bitch. Hope you're having a good night. Also, I'm a very complimenting person, so prepare yourself. The real kicker of this conversation is when I was talking about worrying about not passing while wearing a dress, and they took what was meant to be a comment about how I was insecure about my shoulders to be about my gawk? Entirely unprompted. Is that girl cock? How did I never know about this slang term? Oh my god. Gawk? Okay. LOL, yeah, I like skirts. Dresses kind of scare me. I unfortunately can't really pass in a dress. I mean, I think you pass just fine enough without anything special. Unfortunately, dresses kind of expose the more giveaway traits. What? People can appreciate some gawk? Well, I mean, I guess it depends on... Wait. Why would you assume that a dress giving away traits necessarily means your shoulder? You can wear dresses. There are dresses that cover your shoulders. What? What? That wasn't what I meant, but that too, I guess. What else is that supposed to be referring to, LOL? I was thinking about my shoulders, LOL. Maybe they mean wide shoulders? Well, sure, that's... Maybe I'm just mind rotted? I don't know. That's not where my brain would go, whatever. Later in the same conversation, they commented on my NFTs, which as far as myself or anyone else can figure out, is nice fucking tits. and that I look cute, and that my then partner is VVV lucky. To a certain extent, you could argue this is reassurance, but the comments about my penis and breasts are unsavory at best. I mean, I'm looking at that first photo you sent me, and nothing about that screams, these shoulders do not look like a woman's, and that has bare shoulders. Not sure how long you've been on HRT, but I mean, in my opinion, I think you already passed really well. I don't know how anybody would look at the picture, think otherwise. LOL, you even got some NFTs in there. What, think I couldn't handle it? I mean, you do look really cute in this. Like I said, your partner is VVV lucky. What was their response to this? Hold on. Try not to get one guide. If your proportions are fucked and you have really bad measurements, certain outfits will make you stand out really poorly. Yes, no fucking shit. I don't know why you are typing that comment in chat. I don't know if that has anything to do with what we're talking about here, but thank you. Okay, that's okay. These are the most innocuous, flirty messages I've ever seen. It's hard to say without seeing more messages. It's a hard conversation, I guess, subject matter, because like if you're trying to reassure someone they're passing, like secondary sexual characteristics are a thing that are probably going to come up, like especially boobs. So like it's hard to I need to see more like NFTs for nice fucking I've never even seen this abbreviation before. There's no like emojis or anything, so these look like your DMs. Oof, you are 1,000,000,000% a virgin if you think these look anything like my DMs. My DMs are 1,000,000,000 times flirtier. My DMs would be like, how the fuck do you think you don't pass? Like I would bust all over those big fucking titties. 1,000,000%, 50 million drool emojis. This is like barely flirting. This is I would argue this is ambiguous as fuck. She's 17? Yeah, if I was 17, I meant. If I was talking to another adult. This could be a green flag or it could be a red flag, depending on how it comes up. But generally, referencing partners is usually a green flag, depending on the prior conversation, because it means that the person is acknowledging your relationship. They're not uncomfortable or upset talking about your partner, which usually means they're not trying to split you off of them and they don't have weird feelings about them. You do look really cute in this. Like I said, your partner is very lucky, but nothing direct here, but a couple instances of them being a bit too concerned about being canceled in a way that seems to be foreshadowing something. What? If I made that joke, is my platform big enough to get canceled for queerbaiting or whatever, or do I have to get 1,000,000 subscribers first? Oh no, don't compliment me anything but that, haha. I feed out compliments lately. Honestly, I'm very confident in myself, but it's okay. I'll use my power responsibly. Additionally, very clear early on that they were willing to objectify their friends and fans so far as they say they revel in their simps. Why would they deny it? I'm fucking hot. So true. Why do you think I have so many simps? Yawning face? Charisma? Sure. Not that I mind having simps, of course. I mean, I sort of revel in it at this point. Wait, what part of this is objectifying their friends and fans? Or is there more? What? The rape thread is on the next page, bro. Keep going. Don't worry, we're getting there. On June 26, 2022, during SGDQ, which we were both attending, they sent a suggestive image of them shirtless. To the best of my ability to discern the context, this was while we were sitting on a bed next to each other in the same room IRL. But regardless of context, weird thing to send a 17-year-old. Image not attached for privacy reasons, and for your sake reading this, there was no context to this being sent. It was in the middle of a series of messages that were just spamming funny Discord stickers at each other. As I approached 18 years old, they started complimenting me and calling me cute more and more. The worst of this is on Snapchat, which I unfortunately can't supply more than this screenshot I had in my camera roll, because I don't have Snapchat anymore, but these are all as I was approaching 18 years old at the end of November. Cute. Good morning, cutie. You look great. You look so good. OML, what is that, on my life? Sheesh, thank you. Cute. These are definitely more flirty. But unless he says, or they, whatever the fuck, say these things to like all of their friends, maybe. I guess I'd have to see more back and forth. But these look more flirty. But after I turned 18, their demeanor towards me immediately changed to be significantly more overtly flirtatious. I hope you're doing well. I am. I'm glad. Kitty face. You deserve it. Cutie. Oh, so adorable. I want a head pat. Good boy. Uh-oh. Now we're in the... Oh, well, I guess they're 18 now, but... Oh, no, wait. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Hold on. Wait. I'm sorry. I read these backwards. Wait, that's the other person typing. Or wait. No, wait. Am I wrong? Wait. Wait, I just mindfucked myself. Wait. After I turned 18, their demeanor towards me immediately changed to be significantly more overtly flirtatious. I'm sorry, Aspen is the one who's the victim, right? They said? They're being significantly more flirtatious? So I would have to see more DMs, but this, not to be mean, I would say kind of looks like a letdown, or they're just not, like, just putting like just the emote thing is like, oh, actually it is. No, actually it is. I'm sorry. I just saw through the matrix. I bet that they weren't talking for a while, because that's what this message looks like. Hope you're doing well. Like, that's like a catch-up message. And they're like, I am. Ooh, no follow-up, nothing else. I'm glad. You deserve it. Single emoji response. Cutie. Another emoji response. No counter compliment. So adorable. I want a head pat. Another set of emoji responses. Nothing reciprocated. Heh, good boy. 4 emoji response. Okay. Additionally, within the same conversation, they accepted my advancement to talking about kissing platonically, but more importantly, this was the first time we talked about Star Smiley, their then partner, boundaries about flirting with and being sexual with other people. They were, for several years, in a monogamous relationship in which they stated that Star said she was okay with them to engage in these relations with other people, but she later clarified they never communicated properly about this. Next time I see you, I'm going to give you a huge hug. That would be nice. And I don't know what you're comfy with, but you've mentioned platonic kissing, I think. I did mention that. Hi, I love platonic kissing. Good to know. Oh, this person is so autistic, bro. Did Shayy end up doing anything to this person? The Shayy person is communicating a lot of disinterest. This is a not interested response. Oh, God. I love platonic kissing. Good to know. Oh, no. Explain what kissing platonically means. It means that you're trying to hit on somebody, but you don't want to put yourself all the way out there to be too vulnerable. So it's something that, like, if the other person doesn't reciprocate, you can still kind of, like, recover your ego. That's what it means. Remember, this person is asexual. Who? Aspen is not asexual. That was their other person. This is a different girl, right? Or, I'm sorry, not girl. Holy shit, my bad. Guy. It's female to male, or was it male to female? No, they were talking about their boobs. Girl. Aspen is a girl. There's a male to female trans woman. Okay. And Shayy is a they, them. You know what? We should just call everybody AFABs and AMABs, okay? Okay. Their demeanor towards me immediately changed to be significantly more overtly flirtatious. Oh, dude, this is painful to read. Oh my God. Hold on, I'm sorry. This is just... Aspen is the god capper. Yeah, I got it. Why would they post this? Do you know how when they say like what 2 developers can do in 2 days, 10 developers can do in 10 days? The joke being that when you throw more people on a project, they'll fucking slow each other down. Like, one woman with 100 IQ put together with 10 other women with 100 IQ will produce subject matter like that of a 60 IQ person, okay? It's they yasslate each other. Why do we hear Deltarune music? Because this is a Deltarune rapist, Shayy is. That's what we're watching right now. This is the second rape we just went over. Look at this real quick. Trust. Wait, what? We're just... Who cares? We're not even... Don't spoil! True, Falcon. Fuck. Remind me to steal that later. I'm meme jacking that. Okay. Wait, where are we at? Good to know. I'm down for a lot more platonically than most people are. Take that as you will. I'm only recently exploring platonic affection, so I think I'll just say, oh no, the reject. Ah! What? That's so valid. I also want to make sure I'm respecting both you and Star's boundaries. I take it she's okay with you doing these things? Yep, good. That feels like it should be a given, but you'd be surprised how many people don't take that into consideration. LOL, yeah, no, I asked her about it, of course. Good, good. It honestly astounds me how often people like this easily violate things that should be respected on the space level in relationships. Like, respecting your partner's boundaries is fucking important. Screenshot dated November 18th, 2025. This. I mentioned it a bit in the Discord, but while I gave general permission to do stuff with others, they never told me who they were doing it with or when. I guess you two had something based on bits and pieces. What? How is this? There are numerous flirtatious conversations like above from shortly after I turned 18 that I will skip over for brevity. Bruh, this is you flirting and them not giving a fuck. Are you okay? Holy shit. I'll note that starting here until around October 2025, they only reached out or engaged in conversations with me when they were horny. Every other conversation is dry at best, or in some cases, just didn't even get a reply. This isn't a pattern that I noticed at the events at SGDQ 2025 that I will cover later, but it's worth noting. On one occasion, where we were talking, they told me to come lay on their lap, and given my exhaustion at the time, I said I would probably fall asleep. They made a comment about hoping I don't do anything silly while I slept. I can't think of any other way to read this than as a threat. Fuck, that was the wrong one. I'm sorry. Come here and lay on my lap for a while. Kitty smiley face. Please, I'm gonna fall asleep on you probably. Just that's up. That's okay. Hope you don't do anything silly while you're asleep. Kitty face. Okay, these are more flirty. But I wonder what happened in the... Because it's been a year since these messages. Later in the same conversation, I established that I was feeling sex repulsed. And that's why I was deflecting their advances. And again, expressed worry for Star's boundaries, to which they reassured me it was okay. That's gay. Hi, sorry. I'm like vaguely ace leaning at the moment. Ace leaning at the moment. Oh. These sentences. I am ace leaning at the... I'm asexual. That's ace is asexual. I'm asexually... Why don't I just say like, I'm not horny right now. I'm ace leaning at the moment, and I also don't know where your boundaries are, so I'm being silly instead of engaging. Haha, that's fine. You're a close friend, so I'd be okay with that stuff from you. But yeah, I mean, if you're ace-leaning, then whatever you're comfy with, friend, I appreciate you being considerate. I just don't really know what that stuff you're comfy with and where your boundaries are, especially with Star. I am not trying to get in the way of a happy relationship. Oh, ha ha ha. She's okay with me being sexual with friends, don't worry. Hold on. My brain is in the matrix. I've been through, I can see everything, what's happening. You understand what's happening here, right? This Aspen person, they either want to super bang or they want to date, and they're not engaging because they don't know where the person's boundaries are. And then this Shayy is like, you know, oh, it's fine. But also, if you're ace leaning, then we're cool, right? Now, if somebody's saying I'm not horny or I'm asexual, whatever the fuck right now, then saying that like, oh, whatever you're comfortable with is fine, no worries. That's the end of that. But the fact that the Aspen person is poking more, I don't know what that stuff you're comfy with is and where you are with your boundaries. Why would you even ask this as a follow-up? There's no reason to do this, especially with Start, unless you want some kind of, I don't know if they were gunning for a relationship or something or what else is going on. But like, there's no reason to ask this follow-up here unless they're trying to, you know, they're very interested. Yeah. That's what's going on there. I was very clear how important communication about things like this was for me. Oh my God. We'd never talked about anything past like cuddling and stuff. This communication is very important. So true. When I expressed discomfort that they were posting suggestive/nude images untagged on their private Twitter account, they responded worried about the reach of their posts, again on a private account, and rather suggested that they remove me from their circle. I was clear that I used my private Twitter account to follow my friends' accounts and that seeing sexual things was by far the outlier, and they still pushed that I should just be removed, or that I should make a separate account for that, to which I did, despite not really wanting to do that given my asexuality. Why? I don't like your Twitter posts. Lil bro, gotta censor your Twitter posts. I am in class. Why are you checking your private Twitter in class? Censoring post kills engagement. I don't like doing it. Fair enough. I was gonna reply one of my posts earlier. I feel like I've said this before. It's kind of annoying, not gonna lie. That's fair. Like, if you don't want to follow that, I can remove you from the circle, but like, it's something you willingly asked for on that account. I feel like it's strange to complain about checking something you know is suggestive as hell in a public space. I mean, it's also just the account that I use to see my friends' posts. Those posts are like by far the outlier. So? And sometimes I just want to see my friends' posts like getting nudes jump scared. IDK. Okay then, do you want to follow on that account or not then? I mean, that account also just has regular posts, does it not? And like, I do want to see those posts. I would just rather choose before seeing the images. I don't know. I mean, the circle's silly. There's no regular posts in there. All the regular posts are just regular posts. I mean, yeah, it's just the problem of like, I want to see the post, but it's also like, do you have a different account you want to use then? I don't have another account, lol. I have my main and my prive, and another account that I never open. Don't you literally follow porn accounts on your prive? No, LeMayo. I swear, I remember you showing me your timeline was full of that stuff. Maybe I'm misremembering. Sometimes my main gets bad because I follow a lot of artists, and it's like, you know, sometimes artists get silly. Either way, it kills engagement, so no, I'm not putting a spoiler tag on it. That's fair, I guess. I don't really see how that would affect engagement. Oh, I think if you put spoiler tags or whatever on stuff and it marks it as whatever, you get, yeah, it'll nuke your... oh, especially in 2023, I bet. Or why engagement is such a big deal. But I guess I just have a different perspective. Like, the people who follow you are going to see it regardless. That's not even necessarily true. Because I want people to see them? I mean, it's the whole reason it's there, LeMayo. Actually, completely untrue, lol. That's true. They also proceeded to say I was being condescending for this concern, citing their experience with content creation as if that excuses it. Okay, if this is how this conversation is going to be, I really don't want to have it. I'm already kind of annoyed and it's just making it worse. Good luck on the rest of your classes. Not all you need to worry about it anyway. Circle is dead in like a week anyway. I mean, like, I would say that, like, I don't know how old this Shayy person is, but I feel like this conversation was relatively mature on their end. Like, this person, Aspen, expressed a problem. Shayy said, they're not going to accommodate them for this particular thing in terms of changing how they post. They offered to invite a different account into the circle or whatever. But Aspen refuses anything that isn't just don't post this content. And then when Shayy feels like the conversation's not productive, they say, you know, I feel like this isn't going anywhere. I'm a little bit annoyed. Good luck with it. They don't like shit on them. Good luck with the rest of your classes. Like, sorry, wanted to understand your perspective. No, you didn't. You didn't want to understand their perspective. You just wanted them to change their behavior. You wanted them to accommodate you. That was it. It's just annoyingly condescending. Like, I do content creation and social media stuff for a living. I know what I'm talking about. I mean, like, they don't even have to say that. Everybody that posts on Twitter knew that this was true and knows it's true. If you mark stuff like adult only, I don't know if there's an adult only on Twitter, but if you mark stuff like spoiler, it's going to kill the engagement. And for them to just say, oh, well, no, that's not true. The people who follow you are going to see it regardless. But like, that's just not even true. That's not how Twitter necessarily works. But in this conversation, they were making more advances that I was comfortable with, more advances than I was comfortable with. And I tried diverting the conversation and diffusing it, but they kept pushing their sexual fantasies on me in the moment. A decent portion of our conversations during this time were somewhat similar to this, with me eventually giving into their pressure. I will not continue posting more screenshots conversations like this, but it is a couple thousand messages over dozens of conversations. Fair, I wasn't sure if she was coming, flirty face. Cute. If we can, I want to cuddle for a while at some point, pleading face. Comfy bed. 100%. Bored right now. Wish someone was giving me head, to be honest. Cuddles after this? ... Yeah? Pleading face. Use your words. I want to cuddle. Anything else? Mainly cuddle. That implies something else silly. Okay, so now Aspen is not really showing sexual interest. Shayy is trying to get there, but you probably should have picked up this person's not. But like, this isn't rapey. I would just say this is like, I don't even like using the word pushy because people instantly assume pushy means rape. But it's like, I would say this is like if I wasn't in a charge contest, it's kind of a little pushy. They're trying. Discord rape. In SGDQ 2024, they were interested in hanging out with me with many DMs like the ones below, wanting to hang out. We cuddled while there were a number of people in the room, including but not limited to Star being in the bed at the same time. Given the context of what happened in the same situation when I was alone with Shayy the next year, I wholeheartedly believe their presence saved me from being assaulted here. Hey gamer, when do you get here? I'm here, sorry I forgot to mention. Got dragged to the mall right away. Haha, no worries, I'm out at the moment. Kitty face. Are you still out? All my friends are watching a run right now, and I... CST can't? They typoed. I'm in the broadcast room, wanted to see the PB run. Heads up, I'm in the hotel for the foreseeable future. Did you want to hang out? Yeah, when are you available? I'm in the middle of a bunch of people who hate planning. Sob. You just want to hang out? I'm in my room. We did the same later that day, and I similarly suspect that the constant presence of other people in the room was the only thing saving me. Are we doing hypothetical rape right now? What are we talking about? I wouldn't mind more if you get free time, but I don't want to derail you. More what? More cuddles or more? Are you busy? Not at all. Is that an invitation? Yep. I'll head up then. Foreshadowing a similar way they treated me at the next GDQ, they did not talk to me or respond to any of my DMs that were not related to me coming and hanging out with them in person. In this conversation, I very explicitly told them I wasn't horny, and they still tried to make an advancement. You're so gay. Sorry, I'm just kind of not in a horny mood right now. Don't you mean you're kind of asexual leaning? Damn. I can fix that. What? Bonk. Good one. And for the main event, SGDQ 2025, they seemed excited to see me in anticipation, and I was excited to see them. They continued to try to get me to come hang out. All the while, I was unaware it would be one-to-one. I assumed that friends, or at least Star, would be around in their room. What I did not know at the time was that they did this purely with the intent of having sex with me. GDQ today, excited to see you. Heart face! I'm here. Let me know sometime if you're free to say hi. I'm in the lobby for now. I just woke up. Good morning, cutie. I think I'm leaving soon for breakfast, but I'll catch you in a bit. Ah. If you're free right now, actually, I could head up. I just helped Sherry bring stuff up to his room. Or down, actually. Never mind, I lied. I gotta go right now. I'll catch you later. Okay. I'm back now. Come up. Okay. I need to steal a card from someone. When I went up to the room under the pretense of hanging out, they sexually assaulted me. They made advancements and pushed me to do things I was not comfortable with, but I did not feel safe saying no, given the context, the power they had over me, and the fact that I was alone with them. At the time, I was vulnerable, given unrelated things in my personal life, and it led me to not realize what had happened until I looked back on it a few days later. For the rest of the event, they barely responded to me. I sent around a dozen messages, and they gave one single cat face and an LOL, ignoring almost everything I said to them, all the while acting like nothing happened when we were around each other in person. The next time they messaged me was to bring up what happened in person again, and while I tried deflecting, they were insistent on it. The other day I was thinking about what we did at GDQ. That was nice. Kitty face. How are you? Also, I never got this ping. I did get it figured out, haha, eventually. I'm doing all right. Finished college and chilling a bit before I go to England. Ooh. I hope this was fun for you, by the way. Haha. Also, congrats on finishing college. That's huge. Thanks. Big weight off. Damn, these two go back and forth between... they're like being hot and cold for each other. Oh, no. Now the Shayy person is wanting something from this person. This person doesn't care. Jesus. Oh, no. I was incredibly uncomfortable around them at the time and left it at saying I wasn't interested and that I was feeling sex repulsed. Is this like a new term thing? Sex repulsed or whatever? I was in a particularly deep sex repulsion bout that was caused by what happened at GDQ. Are you not responding to this for a reason? Or, yeah, I'm just not interested, sorry. What do you mean by that? Just like general or right now, lol. Bit of both. Really not interested right now. I'm sorry, I've been very sex repulsed recently. Oof, they're trying to push harder. Later in that conversation, they tried prompting at me about AGDQ. Yeah, you're gonna be at AGDQ? I really like cuddling with you. It was so nice. Nope, def can't afford it. No. Around this time, we started having actual conversations occasionally, which I can only suspect was because around this time, people were starting to come up privately with stories about Shayy that they became aware of. Eventually, I reached out about my experience with them after I'd already shared part of my story with relevant people. I hoped at the time that this was them genuinely making an effort to make good on their mistakes and be a better friend, but now I know that it was simply them trying to cover their tracks and save face. Their apology seemed genuine, and I bit. Hey, sorry I've been awkward and not responding. I've been struggling a lot with things and haven't known how to handle it. Hold on. Just check real quick. Okay. 2025. To put it bluntly, reflecting ever since GDQ, I felt incredibly hurt and used by you over the past couple of years. I began feeling this way at GDQ, but upon reading back through our DMs, it was very clear that you only ever talked to me in more than a couple of very dry messages when you wanted to use me for sex. Reflecting on GDQ this year and last year made it clearer. You talked to me when you wanted to cuddle or have sex, but ghosted me the rest of the time. Ghosted? It's made me feel terrible about myself and about the fact that I've considered you a friend for years, just for interactions to boil down to this trend of you only caring about messaging me when you're horny. I don't think it would be accurate to call our relationship over the past couple of years a friendship. And if our friendship is something you care about, you're going to have to learn to be a good friend. Hey, thank you for being honest about this. I want to apologize and also validate what you're feeling. Oh, validating feelings. Oh, what a agender king. I don't know what they'd call him. Because I was starting to feel the same way and it made me feel incredibly icky. The truth of the matter is that I enjoy talking to you and enjoy hanging out with you. I never intended to ghost you or do anything of the sort. I just really, really struggle to keep up with the amount of social things happening in an event like that. I do care about our friendship. I promise that I do. And I want to prove that I do. And I want to just talk about more stuff and hang out more in general. But I'm sorry how I made you feel. I've been feeling that way for several others as well. Feeling used. And I think it'd be a dangerous outcome of having sexual interactions in a friendship like that. The bottom line is I care about you and I want to hang out more. Promise that I will do better. And again, thank you for being honest with me. So I think it's you personally, nothing about how I view you. I just completely shut down and forget to respond to things when my social battery is low. I've been trying more recently to reach out. Can we try again? I want to know how your UK trip has been going. You're still there, right? In the month or so following this, or following, there were a few conversations we had that felt real for the first time in years, even them reaching out after I'd posted on my private Twitter during a breakdown. Also, I saw your other tweet. I hope you're feeling better. Please don't do anything bad to yourself. But in the past few days, while learning about other stories and the recency with which they were continuing to abuse and take advantage of people, it was clear that this was never anything more than an attempt to save face. By the way, warning for influencers and whatever other YouTubers or public people. If people reach out like this ever looking for apologies or any bullshit like this, or they say that something was miscommunicated, just block and move on. It is never, ever, ever worth trying to apologize or say anything even remotely looking like that, because they will always use it against you. Demons like this never give a fuck about, I say rehabilitation, but it's not even like the Shapers. I don't think even did anything that wrong. But like, they're especially if, which I can only suspect was about this time, people starting to early stories. If they were already communicating with other people too, they're literally just looking to farm. You know, they're probably already talking to their group of friends, trying to figure out like how they can farm. That would be my guess, but I don't. Maybe they weren't already at that point. But I don't think it's worth it. Fuck all that bullshit. Shayy, if you're reading this, and I sure hope you are, you repeatedly pushed me to my limits and you broke me down into nothing while I trusted you and forgave you over and over, time and time again. You took my endless kindness and used it to take advantage of me and my friends. You and your actions are deplorable, and I hope you never show your face around here ever again, because you will never be welcomed back. Damn. Okay, I'm not reading all this. This is fucking retarded. Click the sub tabs of this tab for anonymous number one testimony. What the fuck? Sub tabs. What actually happened between anonymous and Shayy? Opening and disclaimers. How has this affected me? The physical and emotional consequences of this situation for me. Okay, so where did this start? Why was I afraid to speak up? Shayy and other people's hair. Did anything weird happen and trusted? So what was the most recent example of Shayy's behavior? How did I find out other people went through this too? What the fuck are we doing here? Hey, anonymous one here. I'm sorry to just come to this for the people who are most likely sick of hearing about everything related to the situation. Ideally, Shayy's accountability statement would have been the last time you guys would ever hear about. I originally was going to wait until later to explain how this entire situation made me feel, but since starting this document, I've had a second mental health crisis moment. What are these statements? That was greatly attributed to this entire fiasco. I've had 2 fits of hyperventilation, 3 now as of November 16th. Since Shayy released their most recent statement, I'm currently writing this on the 6th of November 2025, so it has been 2 days. I actually woke up to that statement being posted in the early hours of the 5th. They didn't even give a warning with no warning? Hold on. I have genuinely never felt so much violent stress, such painful and scary anxiety. I've been through a lot in my life, but this has come to be one of the most gut-churning and physically taxing situations I've ever been through, which says a lot. I am not the type of person to buckle physically under stress. It's usually all in my head. Well, I mean, isn't all stress? isn't that kind of how that works? But the digestive issues, the nausea, the hyperventilation, so bad both of my hands have tingled and my hearing has dulled. Did you skip the actual statement on what happened? No, I think we're getting there. They have to build up the emotional gravity first. Both my hands have tingled and my hearing has dulled. Wait, I need my thing. Hold on. Fuck, just kidding. I'll suffer. Wait, confirmation on this Shayy being the one who basically released one of the manifestos about pirate software? Wait, did they? Is this one of those people about the furry stuff or something? No way, right? People are saying, holy shit, but I don't even know if that's true. Okay, my hearing has dulled, the esophagus pain from crying so hard, the nasal and eye irritation, the heart palpitations. I've struggled to eat, struggled to get sleep with pangs of anxiety that would wake me up as soon as I started to drift off like my body was in fight or flight. I've had arguments with my family and my personal life happen at the same time as this ongoing situation multiple times. It has been intense, and I'm surprised I'm not in the hospital for physical or mental complications. Holy shit. What is this? This must be like a multi-torture rape situation. Oh my God, she must have fucked this person brutally up. Oh my God, all right. Whew. Well, this will be the last. I gotta see this one, okay? Jesus, oh my God. Mentally, I felt worthless. At times, I haven't felt like a person anymore. There have been so many times I felt disgusted with my body, disgusted I was born in the body I was, because maybe things would have been different had I not been perceived the way it feels I was. Maybe if I was born a man and identified as a man, or overtly masculine at the same time, this would have never happened. Is this a male to female, or is this just a woman, or is this, or I don't even know what I'm... Okay. I don't know. Sorry. Hold on, I shouldn't laugh because this might be a serious one, okay? Several times I have wished I wasn't Arrow Ace, so none of this bothered me. Wait, what does that mean? I don't even know that abbreviation. Hold on. We've learned 2 words. Okay, Arrow Ace. What is that? It's a term for individuals who are both aromantic and asexual. Wow. Okay. Man, they're really just... So none of this bothered me. Not that it would make it right. Thanks to my OCD. Oh, we have OCD too. I've also been unable to focus on anything other than this. It's in my mind intrusively, constantly. Speaking normally with friends, spending time with them has been 10 times harder as a result. Shayy has made me feel subhuman. I want to take a moment to thank every person who has had to listen to me cry and sob in voice calls with them. You guys know who you are, and I love you so much for being there for me at my very lowest. Because it was truly at my lowest, without my friends, I wouldn't be here. I relive this suffering every single time I talk about it. Writing this document is actively making me suffer, so I hope you're happy, Shayy. Because of your incompetence, I'm having to do the thing you're supposed to do, which I asked you to do months ago. I can't move on until the score is settled, so I will settle it myself. I'm actually proud of myself for still being here and persevering. I have wanted to give up so many fucking times because I feel nothing will get better and that Shayy will never tell the full truth. But I have to keep going for the sake of other people and to make sure this never happens again. I'm still going and you cannot stop me from fighting for myself and others. Oh my God, what a hero. Whew. Okay, so where did this start? Me and Shayy became friends as a result of me being an active member in their community, as a fan most prominently during 2023. Hold on. They messaged me for the first time directly on March 11th, 2023 to thank me for the art I made them. I was 17 years old. We quickly grew a friendship through interactions both in DMs and in Gen Chat, as well as through the fact that I was making fan art for them every so often. I was added to Trusted on the 27th of June, 2023, a bit under a month before I turned 18. Shayy behaved properly while I was underage, as far as I'm aware, but soon after turning 18, my birthday being August 15th, which they in DMs wished me happy birthday and joked about minors DNI in bio. Do not instruct. What does DNI mean? Do not message? I don't know what DNI means. Do not interact. Was when they began to use terms like good boy to describe and praise me. Shayy was 24. It was on New Year's Eve of 2023, the 31st of December, after I had vented to Shayy about me and my mother's relationship and how troubled said relationship was, that Shayy suddenly started speaking to me about their ass. Their message was in direct relation to me offering to listen to them vent, and they proceeded to send a screenshot of someone's Twitter header. This header consisted of Shay's GDQ bed ass picture. They told me that I used my platform to force my friend to make this her banner for the entire year. I started to respond to this playfully, saying dumb shit like, "God damn, you got dumpy." I was aware this was stupid to say. It's not really something I like to joke about often, but it felt right in the moment, given how playful Shayy can be. I wanted to be friends with them, so I wanted to match the energy. This, though, ended up with Shayy saying, "Are you saying you want to have a fat ass?" And my response, "That implies I don't have a fat ass already." This is where proof was asked by Shayy. Oh my fucking God. Additional context for this public version of the doc. This specific nickname is a play on words related to anonymous name. We are not redacting the entire section because it adds important context to the situation. I don't know why Shayy focused on the nickname Name Ass for this segment. For those unaware, Name Ass was a nickname I gave myself in Shay's sub-only Minecraft server, using a sign next to my bed in-game. I would tell my friends at the time, people I'd known for longer than Shayy and can testify themselves, not to call me that name as part of the joke. It was always, "Don't call me Name Ass" in 2023, and I know that for certain. I must note, however, that in recent years, so post-2023, I definitely started joking more openly about the name. Now, I cannot prove that this conversation didn't happen in 2023. It's extremely hard to prove a negative. But if it did happen, then the most likely reason Shayy cannot find evidence for it is that it either happened in a voice call or in Twitch chat. I implore Shayy to search the Frog family Discord for the word name ass to find it if they believe it to be true that it happened in a public chat. Once again, completely possible it happened offhandedly in a Twitch chat or a VC, but considering context, quite strange it would be the focus point Shayy used instead of the actual reason the conversation started. Shayy goaded the conversation on after I explained, and they joked about my body. This went on until I finally said that I did have a photo they could show what I meant using the angle it was taken from. Of their ass? This image was of me in my Omori hoodie, something I had posted elsewhere. I think I actually posted it in a Frog Family's photo channel. They didn't know this yet, though, and I gave them an out since I was confused and unsure on if I should actually post the image or not. Deep down, I wanted them to tell me not to, so I didn't have to. I had even asked my own mother what I should do in this situation when I'm unsure about sending something with this context around it. She didn't encourage me to not to, so I felt like I had to. I wanted Shayy to like me, and I wanted them to be happy. So when they saw my hesitance responding to my but with a but what, I felt even more inclined to send it. They are lucky I didn't send anything sexually suggestive. They were completely irresponsible. I was young. It was 4 months after I turned 18. They were 17 and 16 months. Unbelievable. To add salt to the wound, they blamed me for the conversation even starting. I called this out as projection, jokingly, because to some extent, I think it was. They teased me, asking me what I was going to do about it. I joked about chasing them around at GDQ someday, something I found funny to do with my tall friends. Picturing a height person chasing someone down a hallway sounds stupid as hell. And they told me they would hug me and pick me up. This or that was one of the many exceptions I made for Shayy. Usually these things included more intimate or affectionate things, like calling me cute. I hated anyone calling me this, but I made exceptions for them specifically. It made me feel special. I felt important to them. The same goes for being picked up. I have openly discussed before how I would hate the idea of being picked up. It's something people used to do without my consent throughout my childhood because of my height, which resulted in me being spun around. What does that even mean? What? I have openly discussed before how I would hate the idea of being picked up. Okay, but it's entirely possible Shayy didn't see it. It's the least of my concerns nonetheless, but thought it'd be important to note my own pattern of allowing Shayy to do things I wouldn't allow others to do. Wouldn't that give them the indication that they're special or that they're more special? Especially if you're saying stuff like that, that would be my assumption. If someone is like, I don't normally let people smack my ass, but if you really want to, you can. And you're like, oh, cool. Then imagine later on, they're like, I even told you, I don't normally let people do that. I was like, okay, but you said, wait, what the fuck? Wait, what? Am I getting mind fucked right now? Holy gaslighting, Batman. I drew art for them for free when they asked, which they made into their profile picture for the month of October 2024. During a time when I had halted drawing for people when they asked, even when payment was given. Another example of an exception I made for them. I finished it the same day. Shayy actually wasn't the nicest to me about the artwork, but apologized the next day after I confronted them about how it hurt my feelings. Power imbalance. Wow, Nadamic, thank you for the tier 5 subber. Power imbalance played big on my reactions to Shayy doing these things. I was more hesitant to say no, too upset to confront. These are all things I have always struggled to put boundaries up for most of my life. Shayy has always been in the back of my mind when making decisions relating to them. I felt I owed it to them with how often they told me how close we were and how much they trusted me. It was something they told me a lot, enough for it to be something I remember so much. This bracketed section was added after finishing the doc. Whilst reading back, I completely forgot to mention that this was not the only time Shayy made this exact proof joke to me in relation to seeing my ass. In the early hours of the 27th of March, 2024, Shayy started streaming Stardew Valley on their Shayy2 account. In this stream chat, I remember mentioning the New Year's ass incident to them and tagged back to the joke I had made back then. Shayy proceeds to respond proof again to me during the stream. I responded back, linking back to the proof I had sent. Oh yeah. And showed them an image of an LPS toy I had within reaching distance because I didn't want to take another photo. Shayy never directly responded after this, and I know for a fact it was during the stream because I actively sent them Stardew Valley wiki information unprompted, implying I was sending this as a result of the stream, which again, Shayy doesn't respond to in DMs. What is IPS? I have no idea. Littlest Pet Shop. Oh, LPS. I would be triggering their trauma if they ever found out. Shayy and other people's hair. Uh-oh. Something I have learned against my will. Missed opportunity to say non-consensually. During the situations that Shayy has a thing for long hair. December 2nd of 2024, Shayy had spoken to me about how they had gotten a new hairdryer in which they told me, if that gives you ideas, tongue smiling face. At the time, I had no clue what that meant, so I paid it no mind. I had mentioned to them that I wanted to cut my hair shorter because it helps with my gender dysphoria. I think everyone knows I'm trans, LOL. And to my surprise, Shayy responded with, your hair looks so amazing though, ... Like they didn't want me to cut it. This was confusing to me because Shayy knows I'm trans. Again, literally everyone does. It's strange, but nothing heinous without the context that I know. To give them credit, they told me it was my own choice. That was fine, but the thing is, the context is that they have a thing for longer hair, and that seems to be known to people who have had intimate relations with them. It was news to me until like a month ago, and was pretty horrifying to find out. This is the exact same fear I had with my ex-boyfriend, that he was being subtle about something he had a kink over, and that our innocent and personal conversations were being used to satiate his desires. I was pretty fucking upset to find this out, and while it may not mean anything to most, it means a shit ton to me. No wonder, Shayy said, if that gives you ideas, tongue out smiley face. It all makes sense to me now. Additionally, after this happened, Shayy offered to let me run my hands through their hair and then proceeded to cat post. Lovely. Other people can corroborate that Shayy says similar things and does similar things with others, especially people they wish to be intimate or actively are intimate with. Hold on, wait a second, just real quick. Has this person ever even met Shayy in real life? Does anybody know? Oh, SDQ? Okay, maybe they did. Or GDQ? So when I first found it, Shayy teased that I was a bottom for whatever reason. This prompted me to tease them back. Wow. Why do these people have no agency? You skipped? Did I skip GDQ or something? Did you forget the part where Shayy assaulted them at GDQ? No, this is a different person. There's an anonymous number 1 or whatever. That other person was Aspen or whatever. There's a third person now. A third accusation. This is building 7 or whatever. What was the most recent example of Shayy's behavior? Oh, this. This is embarrassing to admit, and I shouldn't have to admit this. But a big reason why I so quickly felt like I had to prove that I wasn't a bottom, and in turn, a top, with a sexual tweet I had made, is because the idea of being a bottom makes me afraid of being taken advantage of within the context of sex positions. The reasons are very personal to me because of my sexual trauma and how I've been treated my entire life. I feel small and powerless, and I struggle to say no in most situations. It's something I've been more actively doing, rejecting people outright and saying no when I'm not up to something or uncomfortable. I am so genuinely afraid of being manipulated into situations without my consent or being forced. It's a huge fear of mine, and it has been for years. Oh my God. Why haven't girls figured this out yet? You just have to say like, oh, like a guy's trying to rape me, like, bro, you can't rape me. I'm a top. What? And the guy's like, no, not a top. They're unrapeable. Well, I'm sorry, that's not true because Lav was raped by that one guy when he said that that guy that forced her to have him eat her ass. So I guess you can still rape if you're a top. I don't know if that. Wait, does eating ass count as a top or bottom thing? I don't know how that works. Other way around. He forced her to let him eat her ass, whatever that means. Jesus Christ, right? Depends on, or no wait. Did she? Oh no, he forced her to eat his ass, whatever that means. Sorry, okay, my bad, I forgot. I don't know what that would count as. I'm lost. I got lost in the memes. I'm sorry. Wait, I skipped the trusted chat. Yeah, because this sounds stupid. What is this? I don't care. Eating ass equals both bottoms. Okay. It genuinely sucks that I have to explain this. None of you should have to know this much about me. I wouldn't be surprised if it makes you uncomfortable to read, because it should make you uncomfortable. The fact that I feel like I have to explain this to show the gravity of this situation and why this should never have happened to me. That tweet was made in a moment of comfortability with my sexuality, a moment where for once in my life I felt okay with the idea of doing something with someone in person, intimately and sexually. Shayy ripped this comfort away from me. I have no reason to share this sort of thing with any, and I mean any and all of you, ever again. Back to the timeline of events. The time is 9:08 p.m. I took the screen cap to the DMs with Shayy to show them proof. Funny how this is the third time we're doing the proof bit. Huh. Because I trusted them. What? This is the most retarded shit. Like, imagine some girl was like, the only reason I blew that guy was because he said he'd never had a blowjob before. But guess what I figured out? He was fucking lying. I could especially tell after the 7th time I sucked him off because he still kept saying that he'd never had a blowjob before. And I realized after doing it 7 times, wait a second. You're lying to me. I bet you'd already had a blowjob before I can give you the first one. Because I trusted them, they responded shyly and teasingly with, hey, catface. I need a meow for catfaces, which is a signature for them when they're trying to imply something involving them. Okay. Oh, that's Shay's drooling emoji, is the cat face. I instantly knew what they meant by this, but I hoped I was just making things up. I didn't want to assume that Shayy wanted me to give them a hickey. It made me revolt at the thought. It disgusted me. I don't want sexual interactions with Shayy. Why would they say that? Maybe I'm just overthinking it. So I just took it as a joke. I teased them. I called them a slur that we all reclaim teasingly in this group of friends. You would think they mean faggot, but they actually mean the N-word. I'm just kidding. I joked that they probably liked it, knowing them, because I had seen their reaction to being called it before. Bro, this is just flirting. You are a hardcore flirting. What are we doing here? They seemingly responded seriously, worsening the feeling. But I kept it light and playful as much as I could. We spoke for a couple more messages before the conversation dropped off at 9:56 p.m. Shayy messages me again at 12:30 a.m., midnight, responding to what I said hours prior randomly to elaborate and share a photo of themselves alongside it. So the conversation reignites. I call them pretty, and they respond positively using the blushy emoji that they use constantly. I send a patting gif we regularly exchange for platonic nice reasons. This is something I usually did with emojis, but we did it with gifs. This was normal. Then Shayy responds, please, ... I sent another patting gif, and called them a sopping, wet cat. An affectionate term I use to describe characters like character or, I don't know, anyone that gives that energy. I was keeping it light, like it should have been. At 12:39 a.m., 3 whole hours after I had sent that screen cap, Shayy responds to it with, "So when am I getting this though?" P smiley open tongue face. I have to make this text big so I can get it through everyone's heads what was actually said. Shayy, for whatever reason, continues to say this was a I don't know what that means, situation. It wasn't. It never was, and I don't know why they continue to make it out like it was. If you check the videos that should have been posted the other night, you can see for yourself that the attachment links to the Hickey tweet. If they weren't posted, I will make sure they are actually posted this time, like I wanted initially. I'm saying this now so I don't forget later, but Shayy has actively lied about this situation. Actively lied about the situation, not passively, actively lied about the situation to people before making any of the accountability posts. They were callous in how they talked about it, like it was clownable. Luckily, the person this was sent to knew better than to trust what Shayy was saying. Oh, it's like, God, I wish it was me. Gotcha. But who knows who else they said this to behind closed doors. The implication is they told multiple people based on them saying basically everyone I've spoken to. The most recent accountability post also lied about it too. Why are you incapable of speaking the truth? To directly quote, it was pretty explicitly written as, God, I need this. Was it really now? I don't know. It seems to me... Wait, what? It seems to me like you were expecting me to give you a hickey. Funny joke you got there. I laughed so hard. Honestly, it sounds more like a demand to me than a joke. Sorry, I'm getting carried away and speaking directly to Shayy instead of you all. My apologies. It's the only way I can really express this now without speaking to them directly. I don't really want to do that after the last 2 confrontations we had. I'll speak on that later. I was confused, horrified. Shayy had just confirmed the concern I had that I assumed was just me overthinking. I assumed I had misunderstood, so I asked for clarification on if they were talking about me or in general. Shayy confirmed the sexual joke was aimed at me. It sounded pretty good to be given a hickey from me. The aromantic, asexual, who had never had sex, never done anything sexually intimate with anyone, who had never given a hickey. I've never even kissed someone with romantic or sexual intent. So they've kissed people just not with them. So I clarified again, thinking maybe they didn't realize I was being serious or that it was a sexual tweet. Wait, I am so sorry. Hold on. Can I ask a question? Because maybe I'm just retarded. What does it mean to be an aromantic, asexual top? Can somebody break that down for me? Hold on. I was confused, horrified. Oh, wait, we already got this. Shayy doubled down twice, took none of the opportunities to shut down the joke they made. Sexual and platonic interactions aren't terribly different to Shayy. It made me rethink every single interaction we had once months had passed. How much of what was said, what we did, was being taken sexually. If sexual and platonic aren't distant, what was our platonic friendship? Shayy should make a response video saying, first of all, I want to say that consonants are sexual to me, and I cummed 4,000 times reading this person's statement about me. I'm just kidding. I declined. It hadn't sunk in yet how bad this was. Just like New Year's of 2023, I was ready to sweep this under the rug and take it to the grave with me. I felt the horror, yet chose to ignore it. I felt the horror, yet chose to ignore it because Shayy wouldn't actually do that to me, right? I felt the horror. I think they realized their fuck up, telling me that they weren't into hickeys anyway. Sure, glad this was funny for you. I sent a head pat gif, unsure of how to deal with my feelings of disgust. I like how every unsure feeling they have is fucking flirting. Holy shit. This is like professional attention whoring. Oh my God. Shayy continued speaking and speaking and speaking, saying they wanted head pats for real. I admitted to them finally that it was jarring to hear what they said. They apologized instantly, telling me they didn't mean it, conveniently acting like they were unsure if I was ace. It's so interesting to me that back when I told them I knew information about their situation with another friend, they cited me being ace as a reason why it might be uncomfortable for me to learn about their sexual dynamic. So why is there such hesitance now? Is it because they potentially saw me expressing that I was unsure if I was ace once in the #vent channel because I was trying to figure out what was going on with my sexuality? That's speculation on my part. But if that is the case, then why the actual fuck would you take advantage of that? Every outcome, in my opinion, as to why Shayy would do this all led to Shayy not acting appropriately. They pushed against a boundary, pushed the limits of our friendship, and tested the waters to see if something stuck. Don't pull this shit with anyone again who you know is ace. Don't pull the demanding sexual acts as joke. Or don't pull the demanding sexual acts joke with them. With anyone. It's creepy and weird. It borders on sexual harassment. Shayy said this was mostly a joke, and I told them not to worry. I feel bad for saying this, as it took time for me to wake up that this wasn't okay whatsoever. I pushed down my feelings to make them feel better about it. Then they told me, Anonymous One, I would never, ever, ever do anything that would make you uncomfortable. I know what they meant by this, really. They meant to say that they would never intend to make me feel uncomfortable. The cruel irony is, this was the most uncomfortable I had felt about talking to Shayy since New Year's of 2023. I just chalked it up to an autism slip-up. We all have them, completely miscommunicating the situation entirely. It was a second big-time mistake they had made. This wasn't something other people went through, right? For additional context, since it sounds weird without it, I'm diagnosed autistic. Saying they had an autism slip-up isn't a slight. It's how Shayy portrayed it to me themselves whenever explaining their actions to me. They regularly used missing cues and autism as an explanation for their actions. Okay, am I done with this? There's more? The final confrontation. What are these like footnote markings, like 39? What is this? Are there links to things in here or? True. What they really want is monogamous, committed relationships that are not transactional, but that's too uncool to admit. So they manufacture this insurmountability power dynamic with a YouTuber who's barely 5 years older than them and makes a bit more money. I am an asexual, aromantic person who can't maintain multiple friendships because it triggers my autism that also have platonic sexual interactions. So I prefer to have a single partner who respects my aromantic asexuality to allow me to comfortably share platonic, sexual, and romantic moments with them so that we can just be happy together. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Find God. The first conversation, okay, there's no way. Oh, wait, hold on, trauma. We got this. On August 22nd of 2025, I sent my very first and what I intended to be my last message to Shayy. As I explained in the message, and as Shayy has mentioned to several people without my permission, non-consensually, this awakening did also open my eyes to a running history of situations I had faced in my life that were related to sex or sexual situations. Yes, I realized I have sexual trauma. Is this sexual trauma without ever having had any sexual experiences? What the fuck? What? I'm not going to elaborate further on my why or what happened in my past that caused me to have this trauma. I've already said enough, and quite frankly, I'm disgusted that Shayy has gone around telling people about this trauma spiral I went down. That was not their place to mention at all. Anyway, after I sent this message, I blocked Shayy like I had warned them. Wait, what was I? At the time, I simply did not want to deal with the stress and anxiety of having to respond to their immediate reaction. I had already been through enough of that, even typing the message up. The last several weeks had been a never-ending hell to begin with. This boundary wouldn't last, though. August 27th, 2025. I unblocked and messaged to express my distaste with the fact that why are they unblocking and re-messaging? My Arrow Ace King Royalty Queen. August 27th, 2025, I unblocked them and messaged to express my distaste for the fact the profile picture they were using was a complete redraw of my Halloween witch art I had personally made for them at my request. The same art from October 2024. Now, I have my own feelings about the communication between me and Shayy relating to permission being given to literally redraw my art almost exactly. But it's not something you should care about particularly. I'm just outlining the reason communication started up again. Shayy apologized, so it's whatever. After the short conversation, Shayy asked if we could talk. I told them I didn't want to. I had already stated to them I wasn't ready to unblock them. But to go on ahead, what the fuck, bro? This person is fucking retarded. Shay's like, I want to talk. And it's like, well, I don't. I'm not even ready to unblock you, even though I have. And I don't really want to talk to you. But go ahead and talk. I'm listening. Shayy guilted me over the fact that I had sent my message and I'm sorry, hold on. I'm sorry. This is just so funny to me. Jesus fucking, what the fuck is happening? Bloop, 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 bloop. Hold on, Anne. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Okay. Sorry. Shayy guilted me over the fact that I had sent my message and blocked them. Guilted me. They should say non-consensually guilted me. Telling me how awful it was for them, how they had a difficult day, how it was late at night, how I should have given them the basic decency to let them talk to me. I felt so guilty, but I pushed through and defended myself. They responded and used the fact that I knew about their trauma against me. It made me feel like I was wrong for doing any of this, despite the fact that I had every right to. I had to do what I did for myself and my own trauma. To move on and heal is what I needed. And to talk to Shayy and be exposed to the full brunt of their reaction was going to send me over the edge. One of our comforts had to be sacrificed, and I had sacrificed mine to Shayy too many times. It had to be done. I told Shayy they needed to be careful and to stop this behavior. At this very time, I was still under the impression that it was just me and the other person, and at most, maybe a third person. I'm unsure about that one. So I was trying to warn them in case it ever did become more people. Shayy was defensive, saying that we'd been friends for years and how they wouldn't do this with a random person. Uh-oh, hold on. Oh, I like how they're like plotting this out like it's fucking dramatic. For the record, you'll probably notice that I completely failed to mention what had happened on New Year's of 2023. You might be wondering why I never brought that up. We all are. We're waiting with bated breath, queen, I don't know. To put it simply, I was already getting grilled for bringing up Shay's actions from months ago, let alone years ago. I knew I was already going to face consequences for bringing up the more recent incident, so I left the other out entirely. I shouldn't have left it out in hindsight, but at that moment, I was so goddamn afraid of what the response would be already that I wanted to limit how much it would hurt as much as possible for my own sake. But at the time, I doubted myself. Even after time had passed, I still doubted myself. Hell, I still kind of doubt myself. I still wonder, is it really that bad? Did I really make a big deal out of nothing? And is it so bad that during my therapist visit, my own therapist acknowledged how my language during my recountings sounded like I was unsure of myself before I'd even mentioned how much doubt I held for myself? Shayy continues that they have continued to work on themselves over the past year, accidentally revealing this is something they know is a problem that needs fixing. They continue to paint it as a one-time mistake to me again, saying how much it hurt them, comparing what I said to something someone else would say about an abuser. Again, they talk about how badly it affects them, how it's a one-time mistake again. I'm not even going to explain. You've seen this all before. You've seen the same sort of self-loathing language, an exclamation that it's a one-time slip-up. I powered through, trying to explain myself. It was exhausting, and it's exhausting to retell now. I'm sure it's exhausting to read, too. I'm sorry, but thank you for getting this far anyway. At this point, Shayy started to bombard me with message after message, and I was starting to shut down. It was message after message, and it was all starting to blur together to me. Shayy openly states to my face that they cannot truthfully and honestly look at the message I sent here, and say a large portion of it is their fault, then proceed to call their mistake small, completely downplaying how damaging their actions were. Shayy then, are there 50. Are there like footnotes on any of this, or what? Do I get to see any of these things? There are footnotes at the end of a person's part of the doc. Oh, 57. Oh, these were it. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, there's no way that this is their footnotes. It's all the way at the... Oh, my God. Wait, what footnote was this? Hold on. Okay, 49 and 50 and 51. What were they downplaying? I got to see this. Hold on. Oh my God. Nice. And no response from the other person. Nice. Okay. I told you I needed my space and to not contact me until further notice, that was your indicator. I think it's cruel to elude you into thinking a conversation is quicker than it actually would be. Lure you? Because what if it would have taken me months or years, Shayy? Oh no, this is their message. Okay. This is bigger to me than just saying one slip up. Yes, objectively it was a mistake, but it was a mistake that had a huge impact on me and my comforts. It has made me reevaluate how I see and interact with sexual topics. I have made a lot of realization as to why it hurt as much as it did. And that is extremely hard to recognize and realize, that there is a much bigger problem that has caused me to feel this way. That me having sexual trauma, that being me having sexual trauma, it was a slip up, and I understand that. I won't hold it to you that you fucked up by making a joke that was out of line. But the impact and how hard it was, and how hard it was to me to confront you about this later, how difficult it has been to accept that what you said was wrong, and I need to be away from you to process and be okay to have a conversation, has been huge. What was the joke? I think he tweeted out something, and the guy joked that he was a bottom instead of a top or something, and this like fucking sent him into a death spiral. It has taken over my life for the last week. It has been difficult, and not all of that is your fault. But yes, the slip up you made played a huge part in it. I'm not going to burden you with what it does feel like, because again, you feel bad enough, and it'd be wrong to inflict that onto you with the details. Do we ever find out what the sexual trauma was? Was it just DMs, or... Hold on, no spoiler alert. Shayy then mentioned someone joking about a Google Doc to my face, which, painful irony, I know. It honestly feels like they were taunting me with a reminder of their trauma, but this time, about this situation getting out to the public. It was not necessary to tell me this information whatsoever, but they continue nonetheless, telling me about how afraid they were of their life being ruined by falsehoods. I'm not going to deny Shayy has serious trauma involving the idea of being canceled or publicly called out. What the fuck? That would be stupid. They're a content creator and it happens all the time to others, whether it's false or not. But they definitely weaponized this trauma against me, whether they intended to or not. To talk about being called out in public during a conversation I was having with them in private, whilst I was coming to express my discomfort and concern over the fact that Shayy did this thing to me, was wildly inappropriate. What? I think Shay's extremely aware of that now. Shayy respected my wishes, yet asked me to keep them unblocked. Jesus. To guilt me into keeping access open to direct contact after getting me to talk to them about something I wasn't ready to because they don't want to be in isolation is genuinely extremely selfish, terrible behavior. Bro, holy shit. The name drop and why Shayy was banned. I actually ended up reblocking them soon after. They didn't know this until right now. Sorry. The first accountability post. This is the... Oh my God, bruh. I acknowledged that I had seen what they said and actively told them that they had my full consent to give as much detail as possible about the situation if they want to be 100% honest. It's something that to this day they failed to do. I'm giving you consent to tell the truth, and they refused to do it. So they non-consensually ignored my consent about how to make him. Okay. Shayy then talks with me about something they've asked me not to share. I will respect that, but they pretty much almost trauma dump to me about their past. What does it mean to almost trauma dump? I hope this document has finally shown you what type of person Shayy is. Shay's fucking retarded for talking to these people. That's what the type of... Now, you can make your own decision off all the facts and my own perspective. I'm genuinely sorry you have had to sit through over 13,000 words of this abysmal dog shit. Genuinely, thank you for taking the time to do so. It means the world. There is still an entire tab dedicated to the patterns of behavior that I implore you to sift through. Do not message me if we don't know each other. Thank you. Before I go, I'd love to thank all of the people who've supported me throughout this entire thing. This situation has been hell, and without all of you, I wouldn't have gotten where I am now writing this. Thank you to those who have had to listen to me cry in voice calls, and especially the people who had to listen to me hyperventilate too. You know who you are. Can you imagine a person like this working a normal job? Jesus. Uh-oh. Please take it from me that if you are young, vulnerable, and or especially if you are under 18, be careful online. I cannot stop you, but I strongly urge you to not contact popular internet personalities or celebrities. This situation has ruined my life for the past several months. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. I'm good. All the times they called me good boy. Oh no. Jesus Christ. This is fucking horrible. I like how the guy's reciprocating the whole time. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Why do we need to publish the Jesus? God, dude, women love doing this. I think it's based. I love a fucking queen that just fucking posts everything. Hell yeah. Post that revenge porn. Queen, yes. Wait, did they even make any accusations? Hold on. Hi, I'm Ray, aka Fallout fan, and I've been a member of Shay's community and a close friend of theirs since 2022. Over the course of our friendship, I had multiple consensual sexual encounters with them in DMs. What are we doing? Okay. Their leaked sexual interactions. Worst E6 ever. Literally had to pretend my Wi-Fi cut out and go offline mode.
It's cause
Shut your.
Stop! I don't need to listen to this. Jesus Christ. Which eventually escalated to me. Wait, have you seen this? No. Fuck. We're balls deep in this right now. Okay. Which eventually escalated to me visiting them in person this past June, where we engaged in physical sexual activity. As is the case with others in this document, I was assured by Shayy that their girlfriend was aware of the fact that they engaged in sexual behavior with their friends, and I was understandably horrified when I found out that she did not. Well, but okay. I was particularly horrified to learn that a tweet of mine on my private account was what alerted her to the fact that I was having sex with Shayy. If I had known the extent she was being kept in the dark, I would not have continued to get. Well, but she said so. She literally said they weren't going to talk about it. What the fuck? I will reiterate that these exchanges were fully consensual, but there is one particular aspect that I am finding increasingly uncomfortable, especially in retrospect. Their attitude towards my gender and my body, especially during sex. For context, I am gender fluid, and my pronouns have fluctuated over time. My most preferred pronouns were they, them, throughout the entire course of my friendship with Shayy. Once, while we were sexting, I mentioned top surgery offhandedly, saying, I don't know if I'll ever commit to full top surgery, but before I do, I need to be tit-fucked at least once. As the roleplay continued, they said, why would you ever get rid of these? They help you fulfill your purpose. Oh, are you fucking serious? Did he actually? What the fuck? What the fuck? Are you fucking serious? After we finished, they joked about breaking my gender, which I took as just that, a joke. I saw it. I'm good. Thumbs up. They joked about breaking my gender, which I took as just that, a joke. As time went on, they started using feminine terms and she, her for me, despite my pronouns at the time being they/he. And preferring mixed gender terms. At one point during a roleplay session, they forced me to change my pronouns on Discord to she, her. Again, My pronouns were they, he at the time, and rewarded me with a video clip of themselves. As the sexting continued, they made reference to my desire for top surgery again, saying, "They're mine and you're not allowed to get rid of them." Angel face halo thing. I had originally thought this was all part of the scene and that they didn't truly want to control my gender, my body, or my pronouns, but none of that was explicitly clarified by them. And in line with my assumptions, I changed my pronouns back to they, he the next morning. However, this behavior continued on and off throughout our friendship, with them continuing to try to control my pronouns and gender, ranging from getting me to change my pronouns in my bio again to flat out referring to me as a girl and with she, her pronouns. I had even changed my pronouns in bio often enough that my other friends were confused as to whether I actually used she, her pronouns or not. And more often than not, I did not. More often than not, I did not. They just wanted me to. Isn't life so much easier when I just choose your pronouns and gender? Well, I like how it's just mixed gendered terms and pronouns and I will melt. Bro, why? And she just, I like how she just, I love that like women just like post shit like this. It's so fucking based and awesome and amazing. And I can't say anything right now about this because it'll be in my lawsuit docs. Good for you. Queen. What a, or king, queen, they, queen, king. I am an EP girl in a wakey world. Wow. That was just... Okay, I'm done. I can't do any more of this. Pages 162, 177, and 262 are worth checking out. Why? Page 162. Azurith's statement. I'm writing this today to clear up some things. Do what you will with this information. Please feel free to contact me. I've known Shayy for a long time during the community of 2021 and eventually becoming close to him around late 2023. The relevant story here starts in June 2024. At this time, I was reeling from a messy breakup with a partner, whom I've been advised many times was abusive to me. They were harassing me for... What the fuck is this? Are we outsourcing our fucking abuse recognition? They were harassing me for a solid month or two after I broke it off. I was far too nice to just cut them off, so I kept pussyfooting around, hoping they would get off my ass. Shayy was completely aware of the breakup, knowing both of us well. From the breakup on, Shayy was continuously flirty with me. In one of our first conversations, I expressed that I was okay with it as long as it was kept platonic, and specifically if Shayy doesn't get risque. When asked what my line was, I replied conservatively, anything more than a kiss on the cheek, you know? At one point soon afterward, I asked Shayy for advice on matters regarding the aforementioned ex, and they proceeded to scold the individual in question lightly. So they were both at SGDQ at the time. They got rather touchy and cuddly with me as I was dealing with this. I'm not going to say that I didn't consent at the time, but their behavior was quite a bit more forward than it should have been. They were actively guiding me to put my head in their lap, and a few days later, they would explicitly state it as such by them, "Feel up my ass." This was very soon after I'd outright stated my line for acceptable behavior. It was quite clear that this action was over the line, given an observed pattern behavior that's come to light recently. It leaves a really bad taste in my mouth. They were being so physically affectionate and flirtatious at the time. I was only 18 and incredibly emotionally raw and vulnerable at that point in my life. In our first conversation after GDQ, Shayy called me hot. Sorry, wrong one. And I had a nice butt, and also immediately stated again they were okay with sexual activities with friends. I responded with disinterest, so I should discomfort with sexual acts. I also dislike for being called hot. From then on out, okay, what's 162, 177? Shayy and I were laying in the spare bed next to each other. I was doom scrolling on TikTok while Shayy started to inch closer to me. I inched away, wanting my personal space. I'm rarely okay with platonic cuddles, and especially so as I had it. You wanna, I don't even know if this is a hot take, because there's just so many fucking layers of autism, fucking of everything. These people are all mentally ill as fuck. Polyamorous relationships where you are fucking multiple people, in my opinion, is more likely to be successful than a whole community of people that engage in platonic cuddling and platonic kissing. What the fuck does that even mean? You are setting yourself up for so many fucking layers of failure. What the fuck are you even? It's like, this is the most retarded fucking shit I have like ever heard of in my entire fucking life. This is so, yeah, like at what point of, like, what it, and these people are all like aromantic, asexual, platonically, like what? I don't even know. It's just the most retarded shit. They're trying to keep my comments. I turn my back to Shayy, sort of a non-verbal, hey, I want my distance. I didn't want to speak up and cause a scene. Turning my back to them was instead seen as an invitation of some sort because Shayy then curled up behind me, spooning me. To make this even worse, I could feel their dick on my leg. I sat there, terrified of what they would do next. They ignored every single sign that I was uncomfortable. They didn't see that this was freaking me out. I sat there, horrified, thinking, are they going to grope me? Are they going to start grinding on me? What should I do? What the fuck do I do? After a minute or two, I got my bearings and got up and decided I had no choice but to make a scene, loudly asserting I wanted personal space. Shayy was confused. They saw nothing wrong with what was happening. I immediately felt that it was my fault this happened to me. If I let them have their way, then I wouldn't have upset them. I upset them by making a scene. Until September, I never told anyone about this. And 262, what, the last page is worth checking out? I was 17 when I showed up in Shayy's chat. About 8 months after, right when I turned 18, Shayy's tone shifted and got really flirty really fast. They constantly told me I was pretty and made sexually charged jokes towards me, even after I said that I'm in a monogamous relationship and I was uncomfortable. Things stayed pretty restricted to just compliments and things and DMs that I would ignore until SGDQ25. We were in our hotel room. I was showing Shayy a video on my phone, and they invited me over to sit with them. So I got up from my bed and sat next to Shayy for a bit. They very quickly put an arm around me and physically pulled me with them to lay down. Because I got lucky and my partner happened to be in the room, how is that lucky? That's just what... The situation was interrupted very quickly, and they got me physically away from Shayy for the time being. I was visibly uncomfortable enough that someone physically interrupted the situation. After this, we went to a big group dinner with Shayy. My partner was so anxious over what happened to the point where they had to go to the bathroom and have a panic attack. They didn't tell me this until after the fact because they didn't want to stress me out over it. While they were in the bathroom, the topic of age came up at the table. Shayy's exact words were, I want to stick my throbbing ooh-woo cock inside of a 16-year-old. I can't believe people your age are old enough to be propositioning me. I had a physical reaction to this comment. Immediately felt my chest hurt and went into VFib. And my throat get tight. I felt like I had given Shayy the idea that I wanted an actual sexual relationship. I snapped back. Who said I was propositioning you? And the topic seemed to be dropped. Once my partner returned to the table, I went to the bathroom to have a panic attack of my own. They're taking turns having panic attacks in the bathroom. Are you done freaking out yet, bro? I need to get in there next. I can't type anymore from this. Shayy and I had conversations in the past about how I felt objectified when lots of my friends ended up flirting with me. And I felt like that was what was happening again. He basically got flirt gang raped here. I did DM Shayy that night, and they seemed to apologize rather quickly. And I chalked it up to bad communication on my part. Looking back, now he sees the truth. I don't feel like this was the case. Obviously, I was uncomfortable enough that someone physically removed me from within touching distance. At SGDQ 23, me and some others went to Shayy's hotel room to say goodbyes because people were leaving early the next morning. During this, Shayy went to hug me, and they picked me up by the waist. As they were holding me, they adjusted a little bit, and I chalked it up to an uncomfortable grip. They swayed with me, so my dangling legs were moving, and I felt their erection press into my thigh. They held me there for about 30 seconds before they set me down. I feel violated. I was 18 and had just gone on a trip without my parents for the first time. I didn't deserve to be touched like that, especially not in a crowded hotel room. I was uncomfortable at the time, but really wanted to believe I was overthinking. Looking back, I feel that they consciously positioned me there like that and held me there for a reason. That reason being their dick. My God. That was not a platonic erection. So all these people can't enforce their boundaries. Why the fuck is that? They don't even know what they're talking about. They don't have any concept of what's even happening. It's like they're too autistic, or they don't have the social training to talk about or approach topics related to sex or physical contact. So they think that if they like relabel all of them, that somehow they don't have to deal with any of the actual realities of anything that's going on. It would be like me like buying 20 cans of Coke and then buying 20 cans of Coke Zero and then pouring out all the Coke Zero and then pouring in all the Coke into the Coke Zero cans and then pretending like if I just drink the Coke from a Coke Zero can, it's 0 calories. It's like, I don't know. It's just like, this is like, it's the most autistic, retarded, disconnected from human life or experience shit I've ever seen in my life. More people posting. Uh-oh. I've been thinking about this all day. It's the only thing that could truly stay in my mind. Was I a victim? Was I groomed? I met them when I was 20. Very much not a minor, but like, can grooming happen to adults? Was I fucking groomed? Wait, this is a troll. That's a troll. That's a troll. This is a troll. This is a troll. This has to be a troll. Are we grooming? We're grooming 20-year-olds now? Who the fuck are these people? Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. If there's a substantial difference in maturity and independence between the two people, it could happen as an adult. Well, theoretically, of course, but the thing is, nobody even uses grooming the correct way. Like, well, technically, or originally, grooming is supposed to refer to the idea that you enter an explicitly non-sexual relationship with a person with the goal of getting them to trust you in a non-sexual capacity, and then you flip that on them into a sexual way in which they don't, it's like kind of mindfucky for them, and they don't have the proper tools to evaluate the relationship properly and end up doing stuff they probably wouldn't have otherwise. Generally, this happens from adult to child, but it theoretically could happen between adults. It's not impossible, but nobody even uses grooming that way. People just use groom when there's like an age difference or like, yeah, it's just retarded. Bro, I have to get out. Don't ever link me this side of Twitter again. If you felt groomed, then you were groomed. You know your experience better than anyone else because it was your experience. You were 20. I'm not sure how old Shayy was at the time, but in my mid and now late 20s, I would never engage with a 20-year-old the way Shayy did. They must have been 24, 25. Yeah, that's gross. 4 to 5 year difference is one thing when it's, for example, ages 30 and 35, but 20 and 24 is not the same. There's a reason you feel the way you do. It's our brain's way of letting us know something was not right. I'm so sorry. You are so brave for speaking out. I'm sorry. Not the free Palestine and all no, not the free he, they, 27, non-binary, gender fluid, male, BDSM, switch. What the fuck is even oh my God, the kids are not okay. Oh my God. Somebody should respond and be like, why the fuck are you talking why are you talking about sexual stuff on Twitter to a 21-year-old when you're 27? Disgusting. Look at Donnie's bio. Dawn, she, her, 22, trans, flags, saccharine, sweet princess, Dreamy Dolls, Gaming, Poppy, Drag, 18 plus only. Oh, Free Palestine. There it is. It's a troll page. Oh, wait. Fuck, did they have the watermelon too? Oh, yeah, the watermelon. What, the next to Free Palestine? 200 pages of explanations and testimony with evidence. Yeah, these are the people that call me a genocide apologist. Jesus Christ. Oh my God! Can someone explain what happened? And yeah, don't be transphobic because there are trans people in Deltarune / playing Deltarune, and we are very innocent. So yeah, you know, you can dislike someone, but respect others who did nothing wrong. It was revealed yesterday that Shayy is a pedophile.
I see you wish to argue with me on Twitter. Very well. First, I must prepare. Atheist, mixed race, neurodivergent, anti-fascist, sex worker, dyscalculia, woman, vegan, non-binary, empath, disabled, non-white, Latinx, photosensitive, Jewish, pansexual, socialist, BIPOC, femme presenting, plus size, polyamorous, AFAB, agender, non-traditionally attractive, financially disadvantaged, xenogender and xenopronouns. I am now ready to debate you.